After speaking with thousands of educators about computer science over the past 6 years, I've learned something interesting. Whether you're a curriculum director, a principal, or a teacher, chances are you're feeling somewhat uncomfortable or even overwhelmed by the whole computer science thing. And here's the truth, most people are. Today we're going to start to open up a conversation about what's really happening in CS education from elementary through high school, and more importantly, what we can do about it. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. I've spent the last 6 years working directly with K-12 schools, helping them implement and improve their CS programs. I've had conversations with everyone from state-level administrators to classroom teachers, and I've seen what works, what doesn't, and why most schools still struggle with CS education. Let's start with something I hear almost every day from administrators. We know we need to be doing more, but just don't have the people to teach it, and don't even know where to begin. From many of my conversations, I can tell you that a lot of educators at the admin level are either intimidated by coding, they lack some understanding, or they just don't see how critical a skill it is for today's students' futures. They have a difficult time telling the difference between the CS curriculum options, knowing what's better and worse, and perceiving the actual value. Now, with all that being said, many, out of essentially a lack of confidence, will opt for anything as long as it's free. And in doing so, they can at times, indirectly and unintentionally, ascribe a perception of worth on this subject. Here's what's fascinating. This isn't just happening in small districts. I've seen the same pattern in large urban districts with massive budgets, small schools and farming communities with limited resources, private schools with cutting-edge technology, and even Title I schools with and without industry sponsors. The common thread? A simple lack of knowledge and understanding that leads to CS programs being on life support. Here's what nobody's talking about. Most schools and districts do not have a coherent CS pathway. Instead, what I typically see is something like this. At the elementary level, random coding activities and random grades. At the middle school, whatever the tech teacher knows, but usually some sort of block coding only. And for high school, if you're lucky, APCS. If you're lucky. But here's the exciting part. This is actually an opportunity. When you're building from scratch, you can avoid the mistakes others have made. Based on what I've seen work in real classrooms, here's what makes a successful CS program. First, clear progression. Think of it like building a house. You need a foundation before you put up the walls. Second, teacher support. The most successful programs I've seen treat CS teachers like science teachers, equipping them with the proper resources and training. And third, engagement, and specifically engagement through gamification and creativity. Data shows when students are having fun, they're learning. It's that simple. Let's talk about what everyone thinks is the biggest obstacle. Funding. Here's something that may or may not surprise you. In 6 years of working with schools, I've rarely seen funding be the real roadblock. What I have seen a lot is educators not having the time to find an answer for their issue, whether it be funding related or something else. I've also seen a lot of educators at all levels not knowing about the different funding options, and then people not communicating with the staff of educators, especially the teachers, when funds are available. There are so many sources like CTE funds, title funds, CARES ESSER allocations, undistributed district and school funds, state-specific grants, local industry sponsors, and we'll talk more about this later. The bottom line is that too many educators at both the school and district level aren't aware of the various options, all the resources, and the right people to go to for funding. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Starting or improving your CS program isn't about having all the answers. It's about taking the right steps from where you're at. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here in this channel. Teaching computer science in K-12 and practical proven ways to build CS programs that work. Next, we'll dive into exactly how to start building your CS pathway, even if you're starting from zero. Subscribe to join us on this journey and download our free CS program planning guide in the description below. Catch you in the next one. Happy coding.